figuring out who I am deeply inside, and it just I don't know. It's helped me. It still continues to help me.
Yeah.
Episode 41. We are here with special
Yes.
guest Nick Ackle.
Hello.
Oh, snap.
Hello. I'm Nick. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good,
How
man.
are you?
I'm great, guys. Just hanging out, doing my thing. Make sure my
There you
cat
go.
doesn't break anything. Dude, why are you being a pain in the butt? You know, my cats know that we're recording, so
So, this episode, we're going to be talking about pushing beyond your limits.
yep.
Self-imposed limits.
Episode 41.
Episode.
So, Nick, can you share some experience that you've had with pushing beyond your own limits?
Yeah, I can. Like,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be goofy, bro. This is how it's gonna be. I'm sorry.
Dude, it's fine. This is authentic.
Well, you
We're
get
gonna
the-
keep
you're
this-
editing
By the
this,
way,
right?
I'm keeping this in the recording, so keep it going.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
just,
right.
just be you, man.
So, like, how you push past limits for me? I was just like, I mean, going to the gym, like, it's simple as that. Honestly, if I gotta be completely honest with you, just getting up every day, going to work, and then when you get home from work, just going to the gym, working on yourself. Even if it's like 5 to 10 minutes on whatever, as long as you're working and you're feeling great, that's all that matters, man. That's how I see it. And
Well,
like,
But why did you start?
why?
doing- Yeah.
Oh, well, it's dark shit, man. You go through life. Life hits you. Life hits you hard. You get hit by some fucking crazy shit like heartbreak, loss in the family, you name it. We all have our different, losing a job even. I didn't lose my job, but that shit can happen. Pretty much lost, whatever aspect that may be. And whatever puts you in a dark place, and then you think you're stuck and you feel like you can't get up or do nothing, and then you're just feeling stuck the entire time. Only to realize that, wait, I actually have this potential and I actually can do more than I think. And then when you get up and you keep going, that's how I see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If that
And
makes
like you
sense.
said, you mentioned to a dark, in a dark place. I feel like for most people, if not all people, sometimes rock bottom is the best place to get to
Mm-hmm.
because then it makes you wake up to all your own bullshit, and just you have to start to embrace that shadow side of you because we all have it. And
Yeah.
then that's when you start realizing even where you were limiting yourself and how you do limit yourself. You know what I mean? Like we create stories in our mind, and then that's why I tell people your limits are self-imposed. Like if you tell yourself I can fucking do anything, you can fucking do anything. You just have to believe it.
No,
You
seriously.
know, and that's a mantra I use all the time. It's like I can do anything I want. Like nothing stops.
This is something that I found within myself is like you got to get tired of your own bullshit so much that
Yep.
you fucking change, man.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's what I'm doing currently.
Yep.
So what are some of the things you're doing currently?
Well, mentally, I'm working on myself mentally a lot. Like doing things that will make me happy, finding like hobbies to do, like even if it's like just painting or like that's what you gotta do. You gotta keep yourself busy. You gotta keep the mind busy just a little bit. And also with working out a lot, and also on Instagram where I have my page, I made it kind of a like in my darkest time, I was down and out, and like I go on Instagram and I see all these freaking sad boys, and sad girls, like I see all these deep reels, like, oh, when you lose the person you love, or oh my god, just dramatic reels like that put people in like a sad place, but it resonates with people because people are sad. And I look at the comments and I read a bunch of comments that were saying, oh my, they're explaining themselves, saying like how much they lost and this and that. So I feel bad reading all those comments. I'm like, all right, there needs to be some kind of like thing out there that at least helps people, lift them up. So I decided,
how do you push past your limits with
how do you,
that?
how do you push past your limits with that? Well, let me tell you how you push past your limits with that. So myself, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start making a page. I'm gonna start finding my purpose and what I can do to reach my limit and break past it. Because the limit at that point, it's like your own darkness, your own sadness, your own fear, all this stuff. And how I see it is, if you can if you can turn your pain, your own pain, and you can use it to help others, or like be purposeful, driven, and just like motivate, then you've got the whole thing set. And that's what I did. That's why I turned Akko lifts into like this whole literally Akko lifts. You know what I mean?
No, I know that. No, but that's the whole point. And Brian,
Yeah.
if you want to chime in on this, we have to conquer our own demons.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's why I say that the only person that's ever holding you back is yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we create stories around ourselves, and like you just said, I mean, I feel like all of our past, like all of our experiences are there so that we can use them to help other people when they're going through the same difficult time or something similar. you know Shoot, Nate and I have talked a lot about like me with Michelle, which her and I are still working on things. Is the relationship I've been in for you know over a year and a half, but we had taken some space. But what it made me see was, again, a lot of, we both have our fears, but like with me was a lot of my own bullshit. Like I
Right.
literally, my first two relationships at a very young age, both women hurt me, and it created a, like, I created a wall around my heart. So like I can be in a great relationship and then I'll fuck it up somehow because of my own fear, but I'm aware of that now. And it's like the only reason I've ever ran away from shit because I was fearful of being hurt again. And I'm like, dude, I'm not living the rest of my life like that. Like, I'm not going to let go of a great thing because I'm fucking fearful of it. Right. So that's getting beyond my own limitations that I put on myself around relationships because I just didn't want to feel that pain anymore.
Right.
But there's a coach, a master coach, Joe Hudson, and he has really good work. I recommend everybody like check him out. But he talks about how he goes, I actually invite heartbreak in. He goes, because every time my heart breaks, he goes, I learn how to love more deeply. And when he said that, I heard him say that the other day on one of the podcasts he was on. And I was like, man, that makes so much sense, right? Because we're trying to protect our heart. And so, like he said, he goes, most people that I coach are doing this. He goes, they're like, love me, but not too much. Love me, but not too much. Like they're always keeping an arm's length, right? And I feel like that's kind of what I did because I was just like, I don't want to feel that bullshit again, right? But
Mhm.
if I don't fully open my heart and allow to like give all the love I have and to receive all of her love, then the relationship can never thrive because I'm limiting, again, limitations. I'm limiting myself in that and us because of my own fears. And that's why I tell people, like, I don't want to live in fear. Fear is not real. Like I tell people, like, acronym I use for it is false evidence appearing real. Right? It's
Yeah.
just, it's not real. Fear is bullshit.
No, I get that wholeheartedly what you just said because yeah, I've gone through some dark relationships like that. Like I used to be married once.
Hmm.
So yeah,
I
that
have too.
was got married when I was 21, young and dumb.
I seem to remember I told you not to do it, but that's okay.
Hey, you gotta live, right? And but what Brian said though is fucking facts. I will say that right now. That is facts because when and this is my thing. Anytime I'm in a relationship with someone, I'm just gonna get this out of the air. Anytime I'm in a relationship with someone and it ends or whatever it may be, even if they fuck up or I fuck up, whatever, I don't hold any grudges or hate towards them because like that's
No.
just not who I am. And like I want them, and honestly, my ultimate wish is to see them win, have a good, successful life, and just be them and be loved fully. Even if it's not with me, that's my whole thing. But you know, where was I going with this? I had such a good thought before. I remember. Nate, take the floor. Let me
No,
remember.
we're talking about relationships right now, and
Yeah, I said something real good,
the
but
thing, yeah, no,
want
I'm
something
gonna
real good.
talk. I'm gonna talk, and if you remember it,
Go
then
ahead.
go ahead, chime in and stop me. But
Yeah, no, go ahead.
the thing about relationships is, like I told Brian in a previous episode that we already posted, is that when I think of relationships, I think about my relationship with God,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, am I doing all I can to be aligned with you?
Right.
So when you're in a relationship with someone, you have to have the thought of how much can I sacrifice and how much can I not.
Hmm.
It's up to each individual. So
Yep.
I already know your story, Dick.
Yeah,
And
you
I
do.
told you on your wedding day when I was there, I was like, I didn't say it, but I was thinking it. I was like, nah, dude, this is not for you. But you did it anyway. But that's the whole point.
Hey,
Is
go.
that pushing beyond your limits? You can have everybody in the world talk to you until they're blue in the face, but until you experience those things, you won't actually know.
I
Exactly.
will, and I will say, like this. Okay, I found what I was gonna say, and I will say, like after that experience, being married for 8 years and having it crumble and having it go bye bye, I've learned that, like in this last situation.
Dang, you're married for 8 years?
Yeah, it was a long. Oh wait, was it 8 years? No, we were together for 8 years, married for 6.
Oh, okay.
So,
Keep
and
going.
like, I will say, like, I've had women after that, like at least one that was like, holy shit, like this is great. And like I learned, but like what I really liked about this was like I loved fully. I didn't close myself off from it. I didn't turn cold hearted. I put my whole heart into it. And you know what? That right there showed me my love, and that I was proud of myself for the love I showed. Even if it didn't go my way, that's fine. Ain't nothing, ain't no bitterness. And that's the thing. You can't hold on to bitterness. You can't turn cold hearted. You're gonna feel shit though. I will say that right now. You will feel angry because there's like what stages of grief.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't. I
Yeah.
can't remember. At least for me, what I felt was because everyone's gonna feel it. There's no running away from it. You got to face it. You got to face the anger. You got to face the sadness. You got to face the loss. You got to face it all in order to heal fuller and get in for it to. This is breaking beyond the limit.
Yep.
You got to
So,
heal.
so let me ask you this question: where are you right now in breaking beyond your own limits? Then,
Right now, dude, to be honest with you, I'm in like the middle point right now, I think, with everything. I'm not who I used to be, but I'm also cool. Not who I used to be, but I'm closer to who I'm becoming. You know what I
oh,
mean?
dude, that's so beautiful that you just said that. And
Right.
Brian, I want to hear from you too. It's so beautiful that you said that because that's the whole relationship with God.
Yeah.
Well,
And
God,
also, dude, like
I'm not where you want me to be, but I'm where I need to be.
yeah, and that's exactly where I'm at, man, which is sick.
So,
Yeah,
Brian,
absolutely.
what input do you have on being where you are, but not necessarily being where God wants you to be?
Well, I think we're always right where I think we're always right where we're supposed to be, but I think that if you're actively pursuing your growth, then I feel like that's what God wants from us, right? Is to not be stagnant and just be like, oh, I think I'm good enough. Like it's not even like a perfectionist thing. But it's more like, I'm a totally different person today from who I was even a year ago.
Yeah.
But it's because I actively focus on my growth every single day. And like I
Yeah.
said, just going back to like the relationship aspect, it's constantly self-evaluating and being like, yeah, but what have you been doing in this relationship that's not allowed it to flourish the way it could, right? And I
Right.
think if we're always self-evaluating, that's how we grow. I think a lot of people, unfortunately, it's easier to point at other people, so they'll blame the other party, the other whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm like, at the end of the day, the finger should always be pointed back at yourself, right? And it's like, what the fuck do I got to do to be better? And like you kind of like you said, Nick, you said, you loved wholeheartedly. And like, that's what I told myself. I'm like, I know how much I care about this person. So I'm like, why would I not give her my full heart with no fear and be like, fuck it, I'm all in. This is what I'm doing. And I'm going to be my very best version. And don't worry about the outcome. It's like literally, as long as I'm loving the way God's asked me to love, then everything will turn out the way it's supposed to, you know?
Right.
So that's just kind of what I've learned is just don't limit. And that's pushing beyond that limit that I've always put up. I've always had the wall because I didn't want to face possibly being hurt. When I have a person right in front of me telling me, dude, I love you with all my heart, I'm never going to do that to you. And I believe that, you know?
Right. And that's important because, oh God, I forgot where I was going with this.
Let it
That's
flow,
all right.
buddy. Let it flow.
Let it flow. Where I was going with this was like, I feel that wholeheartedly because, like, yeah, man, like putting it on yourself, it's more important because I made a reel about this actually. It was using the Dark Knight, the Batman. Remember the ending of the Batman where he's like, I was the villain, shit like that. When he was saying I was the villain, that shit
Yeah.
is like, yeah, because at the end of the day, it's like I'll take the blame. I'll be the bad guy if I have to be. I don't care because, as long as that person gets to live a happy life, whatever, it's cool. Because at the end of the day, this is who we are.
Yep.
We're all human. We all make mistakes. People aren't. No one's going to be perfect ever.
Exactly.
Well,
That's
what
just
I
the human condition. That's part of the human condition, right?
Right.
But we learn from those failures. I mean, I think that's the thing I look at is it's not even a failure. I tell people, I look at my decisions I made and things that I did in the past, and I'm like, dude, all it's taught me was that's not who I want to be, and that's not who I really am. So,
Right. It's all tests, is how I see it.
absolutely. Yep. That's what I say too. I say the universe is testing you, not in a way to. People think like, oh, it's against me. I was like, we live in a friendly universe. I was like, the universe just wants you to grow. So
Right.
it's like, you're going to keep hitting the same walls until you pass that test. It's just like passing a math test, right? It's like until you pass it, you're going to keep doing it over and over. And
Yeah.
so it's like, I realized like a lot of the situations in my life, I was like, man, I used to look at things and be like, why the fuck do I keep going through the same thing? Because I wasn't learning what was being shown to me,
Right.
and then now that I'm so aware of it, I feel like I keep leveling up because I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that shit anymore. I'm not going to be that way anymore. I'm not going to live from that fear anymore. Like, I'm just going to be my best version that I possibly can be.
Mhm.
Well, that's the thing, man, is one thing I've learned is you have to give yourself grace.
100%. Yep.
Like, dude, I can't even explain to you the amount of times I've been like, even this past couple days, I've been like all in my head, and I'm like, why? Why do we stress about shit? Why do we as humans, that fight or flight, like you and I, Brian, talk about all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt stress in the front of my brain the last 2 days, and I'm like, why? Why am
Mm-hmm.
I feeling like this? And I talk to God, I'm like, why do I feel like this? And often the answers don't come as soon as you think, but it's all for your own development.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Pushing past your limits. What can you handle?
Yeah.
You hope
And
what?
honestly, dude, I think that, your stress to me comes from stories that we create, right? It's not even real shit. And that's just us as humans trying to control things that are out of our control.
Mhm.
So if we're not worried about outcomes in life, but we're like, hey, what can I do in the present moment and be present? That's like Ram Dass wrote the book Be Here Now. His whole point was like the only time you ever have is right now. But so many humans are either depressed because they're living in the past or they're anxious because they're living in the future. And if you can learn to just live right now and look at your life and be like, wait a minute, everything's great. Like I'm good. I have everything I need. All is well. Right.
Yeah.
But then we're typically living in some other state because we're trying to get somewhere, and we're, like I say, we're in a primal state so often. And that's why I like, through my meditation practices over the last several years, through my mindfulness practices, like I'm always able to bring myself back to the present moment and be like, everything's fucking great right now. Like stop being so worried about what's going to happen and what's not going to happen, you know? And
Yeah.
that comes down to, just like I said, we cause our own stress and our own like feel, like we feed into fear. And that's what I tell people, like, which one are you feeding? Are you feeding that love and that strength and what you want, or are you feeding that other side, that dark wolf that's like fucking trying to break you down, you know? And it's like you said, Nate, it's like, give ourselves grace. Like when you do have a moment, like, hey, okay, I had a moment, but now I'm pulling myself back to center, I'm aligning myself again, and I'm all good.
So, Nick, what are some practices that you use to get yourself back to center?
To
To
get
get
myself.
yourself. So look, man, what we're
I'm
talking
listening.
about is is the basic human condition. Like, we're so fucked up that we're just like, I don't know what to do. What do you do when you get stressed out? What practices do you use to get yourself back to center of yourself?
What practices do I use? Well, I do prayer. I pray to God, and I surrender to Him. And it doesn't go away like that. It doesn't go away in a snap of a finger. You're going to deal with it because He wants you to deal with it because He wants you to grow from it, all of it. And my other way of doing it is working out
Hmm.
because you can let it all out. You can also and then if you keep disciplined, stay disciplined, you make goals. So like my goal is like, to get to peak, which is to look good, and I work out to just use it all. Like you use it all as fuel. It's like all of it is like the forge, you know what I mean? It all comes into you, all that emotion, all that sadness, all those sorrows, all that hate, all that anger, all of it. And you go and it's like literally taking a metal, that metal hammer and refining iron is how I see it, because you're refining yourself when you work on yourself, like transforming your body physically. But it's not just transforming your body. Oh my, sorry, I have like a whole catastrophe going on here. My cats decided to destroy everything. Um, anyway, the refining though is also mindset and soul. So like, God fixes your soul. You pray to God more and you pray to Him every day. It fixes your soul. The mindset is pretty much to keep pushing forward, keep getting up from anything that was meant to stop you, and and bring as many people around as you can. Help other people, your family, friends, even strangers online, whoever's around, and it's just pretty much like no matter what, you just keep getting up. No matter how
Absolutely.
many times you fall, you just keep getting back up.
Well, that's the
That's the
thing, right?
self.
It's like, I think that's the whole thing. Is I think who's ever gonna bet against the guy that will never quit,
Exactly.
right? And that's why I say I've been through so many challenges in my life, but I'm like, you know what? I've never fucking quit. I never
Mhm.
got to a point where I just didn't want to try anymore. I was like, I don't care. I'm gonna keep going because
Yeah.
I know I'm destined to do great things and help a ton of people because that's it just in a passion and desire inside of me. And I just keep pushing through anything that it's like you said, it's like those tests come and it's like, I think it's really God's way of being like, so you're asking to do these bigger and greater things. Are you willing to face this shit that's hitting you right now? And if you're willing to push beyond that, then I will open the doors for these other things.
Right. And that's
Right.
yeah, that's exactly how I see it because you never know what his plan is for you and you never know how far you can go. And since I've been doing what I've been doing, which is pushing past my limits, like, pushing past the sadness, all of that,
Hmm.
I have been finding that I have been becoming blessed with like people coming to my life, creating a community, creating and helping other people. And that's what I see myself being blessed with is helping others and just building other people up and building a community around me that generally likes me because, I've always had my self doubt, the overthinking.
Hmm.
Like, do I matter? Do I care? Does anyone care about me? Because sometimes I'll overthink and get in your head. It's like, oh, no one cares about me. They all leave me in the end anyway, right? But you'd be amazed how many people actually do care about you because there is a lot. Even the ones that are so silent, even the ones that might have left, whatever, they're not, here's as long as you made someone smile, made someone, whatever, they ain't gonna forget about you. You know what I
No,
mean?
exactly. Exactly. And it's kind of like we talked about, like you were saying, just like do people care to people, if you're authentically you, like I always tell people, I want people to love me for the real me. Like,
Right.
a lot of people in society wear masks because they want to be approved of and liked. And I know for me, and many times in my past, I would look for validation on the outside like that. And then I realized, over these years, I'm like, dude, I don't need anybody's validation.
No.
Like I can validate myself, I'm good to go. And I just want to be me. And the right people will come into your life and love you for you. You
Right.
don't want to be loved. You don't want to be loved for the fakeness. That's why we talk about like Instagram and shit. It's like, so many people put these like shows on social media, and I'm like, dude, that's not even
Oh,
actually how you live your life. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like if I just talked to you 5 minutes ago, you were saying how miserable you are. Then you get on there and take a selfie, and you're like, life's fucking perfect. I'm like, yeah, you're full of shit. Like, be real about it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Be real
Yeah,
about it.
and that's what I try to bring to my channel is like I know sometimes I'll make reels that are like, just for fun because I like to have fun too. I'm like
Of
a
course,
goofy
yeah,
bastard.
absolutely, hundred
But
percent.
also, like, I make things deep, and like, I just want my goal is to be real as possible when it comes to making deep content because I want to help people because I want them to know that hey, I also went through this shit too. You're not alone. We can get past it together. We can grow together, and we can all unite and whatever, and keep going.
Well,
Yeah.
also what you just said, like bringing fun, like, I always tell Nate that too, is like, I think you should inject fun into everything you possibly can
Oh
because, I
yeah.
mean, all of my greatest spiritual mentors, that's what they used to always say. They were like, don't take this life so damn seriously. They're like, have fun. Like, the more fun you're having, the closer to God you are. Because I
Right.
don't think at the end of the day, I don't think our God was like, oh, I want to put you all there to be fucking serious and sad and, stressed
Yeah.
out. Like, no, God's like, go fucking experience this shit fully. And
Go
then
have
when you
fun.
leave this body, yeah. And then when you leave this body, you're like, damn, that was a hell of a good ride. You know?
Yeah,
Right.
man. God didn't create us to just be miserable.
No.
No, not at all. Like I, I,
It's
I
the
told,
systems. It's the systems of man that make us miserable. Of
I always tell,
control.
yeah, I always tell people the Buddhists say like suffering is optional. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have to suffer. We can choose to be like, I'm gonna live a great life. I'm gonna love as deeply as I can. I'm gonna have a ton of fun doing everything I do. And then you get to leave this journey and be like, that was a great time. Like, yeah, I went through some hard shit, but you know what? At the end of the day, I learned that I can inject fun into everything I do, and I can be a lot more lighthearted, and you can still accomplish great things and help tons of people doing it. So,
Yeah. Absolutely. And at the end of the day, that's what matters
yeah,
because how I see it is this, like, everyone's always on this whole hate train of let's get into this whole thing of let's hate this, let's hate that, let's hate anyone that doesn't agree with me, this and that. It's like
yeah,
I don't do that. I
no,
So,
not
see,
at all.
let me ask you a question.
huh?
Start from left to right. So Brian, then Nick, then me.
Yep.
So when we're in the trials of life, as you would say, how does each of us push past our limits? And what do those limits look like? Because they could be relationships, they could be working out, they could be day-to-day job crap. How do you push past your own limits? And Brian, we'll start with you.
Well, I mean, like I told you, like the thing that's helped me a lot is just always self-reflection, right?
Mhm.
So looking at myself and being like, A, where am I limiting myself? Where, like you said, when trials come, I'm like, I look at that now instead of like years ago, I'd be like, oh, why is this happening to me? Now I'm like, God, what are you trying to show me?
Yeah.
Right? So my
Mhm.
challenges are just a way of God's like, I just need you to grow more here. I need you to shift this. I need you to change that. And then by doing that, I know, okay, how have I been limiting myself? How have I not been being my showing up as my best version? How have I not been loving like fully? How am I still judging? Like, what am I doing? Right. And that's why I said that just comes back to constantly pointing the finger at me and like, okay, I can fucking be better here. I can respond differently the next time this situation arises. Right.
Right.
And it's like you're always self-reflecting. If you're always self-reflecting, then in reality, you're always going to be growing. Right.
Mhm.
And so I know that I can always be better. So it's like I don't put a limitation and say, oh, I think I'm good enough. No, like I can always be better, you know? I think it's like you're saying with the gym. I mean, that's something I've done for years is like, I'll work out hard and I look at myself and I'm like, yeah, well, you lifted this much right now, like you can throw another plate on that. Like, and that's just like I tell people think that working out is just like this brute thing. And I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
it takes you having power in your mind, to even just get your ass there, right? And then when you're there, like, okay, like how hard can I push myself in this hour to take myself to the fucking max? You
Mhm.
know? And that's what I do. I mean, I'll just like, dude, I work out hard hour and 10, whatever I'm there, like I'm moving my ass the entire time. And I'm moving hard, right? And that shows me I can push past the limitation of like I tell like when I train clients, I always tell them like, look, it's your mind that's telling you that you can't do more. Because your mind's always in survival mode trying to tell you, like, I don't want you to be uncomfortable. If you don't face discomfort, you'll never fucking grow, right? So you
No.
won't grow, you won't change your body. And then in life, if you're always trying to be safe and comfy, like how are you ever gonna fucking grow, right? You have to put yourself in situations where it's like this is really uncomfortable, but I'm gonna fucking do it, right?
Mhm.
And I cannot, and like for me again, I can equate it back to the relationship thing. For me, my thing was like, oh, we're having conflict. I want to fucking run away. Well, why? Because I don't want to face that discomfort. But the only way I'm gonna fucking grow and be able to love fully and live fully is by facing that shit. So when we're in a challenge, it's like, you don't get to run, you just get to face this shit and grow up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what I've learned. So
So, Nick, what is some of your methods of pushing past your limits?
So my methods are like, like Brian said about facing the stuff is like all the bad stuff, relationships, whatever. It's like, yeah, you can sit there, let it make it crumble or let you, fall down, wherever. But how I see it is I don't run from shit. I just turn around and face it. You know what I mean? That's my best plan. Like like a frontal attack. You know what I mean? Like you just go all in. You
yeah,
let it all come at you, and then you go like, nah, you ain't gonna make me fall, bro. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get up. We're gonna fight, and we're gonna continue moving.
Well, what's funny
exactly.
about that is that's what that's what Dad told me about Uncle Ricky.
Yeah,
Uncle Ricky was always running away from his problems, man. And
I
Dad was
know.
like the one that told him, "You keep running away from your problems, they're gonna catch up to you eventually. So you might as well face them."
And
Yeah.
that's the problem. There's a lot of people in this world, and I know a lot of people that run away from their shit because they're scared to face it.
Mhm.
I in the line of work I've done, I know since a security officer, I've had people come up to me, threaten to punch me in the face, do this shit and all that, and I could easily be like, "Oh my god, no!" No, I looked at them straight in the face. I'm like, "Go ahead and fucking do it." And most of the time, they don't do shit. And it's also funny when they try, but
Right,
that's what
relax, Tulsa King.
no, but I'm serious. That's a real life experience. That's probably why I'm like, I just face it because you have to. It's
Absolutely.
like,
And oftentimes too, like when we're going through certain shit in our life, again, we create stories of how this thing might turn out really badly, right?
right,
And like I can't remember, but Wayne Dyer used to quote some, but this older man that was like, dude, I'm a 98-year-old man, and most of the shit I worried about never came true.
right,
And
and
so
that's
it's
true.
like we create all these fucking stories that'll never even happen, but we sure try to prep ourselves for some bullshit. And that's why I tell people, like, I tend to be very optimistic and try to stay in the positive all the time. Because I'd rather, like I tell people, I'd rather let people say, oh, he lives with his head in the clouds than fucking be in the middle of all the muck all the time.
No,
Right.
that's a good way.
So I'm always looking at the good and everything.
Yeah, and that's all you can do, man. Honestly,
Yep.
it's looking at the good of everything. Because like I do, even like these bad people and all this stuff, or people that say they're bad and all this, I can still see the good in everybody. Because at the end of the day, we're all
Hmm.
human. I see the
Yep.
good in everyone, and I give a lot of people chances. You know,
Absolutely. Well, I tell people like, our souls as we come in, we don't come in with all the bullshit, but it's like we allow like experiences that we deal with, whether when we're kids or whatever, we allow those experiences to shape the way we look at life. When you have to
Mhm.
look at again, if you change your perspective of that and realize everything was there to help you the entire time, then you
Yeah.
realize like, oh, I went through this hard shit, so it would grow me, right? So
And it's all just trials and errors, that's all we all ever face, human, man, woman, whatever. We all face trials and errors, and that's all it ever will be. It's trial and error.
absolutely.
But you grow from it. And every time, and how I see hardship now, and this is where I break past my limits, is how I see hardship now, or like any struggle, I just endure it and I just keep going, and you just don't stop. Because the way I see it, you lose when you stop. You lose when you
Absolutely.
give up. And as
Absolutely.
long as you don't give up, you can rest. There's a difference. Yes, you can rest. You can take the night off. You can sleep. You can, put your feet up, rest. But don't stop moving and don't give up. Get
Exactly.
back up as many times as it takes.
Well, it's like
You
you
know,
said, dude, like none of us have any of this shit figured out. Like
no.
I said it on one of our podcasts the other day. I told Nate, I said we're all like a bunch of fucking toddlers running around. Like we really don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're just trying. You know what I mean? It's like no one has anything all figured out, period. I was like, I was listening to one of Wayne Dyer's last talks earlier, and like he said, he goes, I'm 75 years old. He goes, and the thing that I realize is I still have no idea what I'm doing.
Right.
He goes, with all his spiritual wisdom, with all that, he still was like, yeah, I just don't know. He goes, I don't even
Mhm.
know where any of this stuff comes from. Like, I don't know where my books come from. Like, all this stuff just comes from a greater source, from God, not from him. And so that's
Mhm.
at the end of the day, that's we're being moved around. Like I tell people, we're like chess pieces being moved around by God.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole point, right? Is that what I've come to learn, and I've talked about this in past episodes, is I'm an Army veteran, and what I've come to learn is that everything we're talking about right now encompasses everything.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you believe in, it doesn't matter what you believe in. There's only one common truth, and for me, like Nick, what you said, the righteous man falls 7 times but gets back up. You never
Yeah.
give up. If you give up, that's when you lose. And to push yourself beyond those limits, in order to push yourself beyond limits, you have to be able to endure. And that's what me and Brian have talked about in past episodes. Is like you have to be able to endure the hardship. You have to be able to endure your own bullshit. You have to be able to endure the bullshit of others. That's
Yeah.
the whole point.
Yep.
Because if you don't endure, if you don't have the guts or the heart to endure life, you will not be successful.
No. You won't.
Exactly.
You'll stay the same. You don't want to stay the same. No one wants to
Well,
stay the same.
that's why they always say, you're right. It's even in the Bible where it says, that most people give up right before they're about to get their like massive breakthrough or whatever their like massive success was or whatever the case is, because shit gets hard, always gets the hardest right before you're about to have a massive up level. And that's what I tell people. So it's like when shit's getting really hard, be grateful because it's just trying to level you up. So just like endure and fucking be consistent, be disciplined, and you'll fucking get to where you want to be. And oftentimes you'll live a life that you didn't even imagine, right? If you're
Yeah.
willing to push through shit.
That's exactly what I tell myself every day because, dude, the shit, I don't know about you guys, but the energy of the world has been feeling a little more intense lately.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's
And I'm
it's
like,
been all over the place for sure.
and
The
I'm
world's
like,
fucked.
God, give me the strength to endure because fuck, man, it's like, it's not even something so obvious. It's just a feeling. Like you got to keep going.
And
Mhm.
the other
You
thing,
can't even explain why. So how do
No,
you push past your limits when you can't even explain why?
hold on. I actually have a solution to this. So when you're talking about all the darkness, I know you're talking about all the bullshit in the world, right? The darkness, all that evil shit that's going on currently. Make your own community. That's what I say. Make your own community. Seriously. You got good people in your life in North Carolina. You got good people in your life in California. I got good people here in Vermont. If we can each branch out, because everywhere I go, I don't know, everywhere I fucking go, guys.
Oh, look at my brother, man. He's
No,
giving
hold
a
on.
message of
Everywhere I go, it's like,
inspiration. Look at
huh?
that.
It is the solution because it works, and I've noticed like you impact people if you and you just be positive. That's really
So
all
what
it
you're
takes.
saying is to inspire others.
Yes, inspiring is key because
Mhm.
you show people if think about this. You're like the gladiator right now in the arena, and they're all watching you work on yourself and build yourself. I know it's super corny to say,
You know what,
but
Nick? You know what, Nick? I'm proud of you that you're saying this right now.
because you're like the gladiator fighting the battles that no one else wants to face. Everyone else is running away, but then they take a moment. They're like, "Well, hold up. Look at that guy down there. You see him? He's taking it all on. It's like, he's facing all this shit. He's facing all these demons. He's facing literally everything." And he's not giving up. Even if they see your ass fall, they see you break, whatever, they see you cry, whatever, they see you keep getting up and showing up. And that's what shows them inspiration. And they're like, if he can do it, I can do it. And I always say to people, if I can do it, you can do it. No matter who you are, man, woman, whatever, you can get up and keep fucking fighting. And that's important. And community to me is number one, because that's how we shift the world, because you change the world around you, and that's how you do it. You keep growing.
Yeah. Plus, I think the thing is just like fucking be the change that you want to see in the world, right?
Right.
So be that light.
Yeah.
Like, we all carry light in us. We all carry God's light in us, and so it's like that's what God wants. Is like, hey, find that light and fucking let it shine, right? So, like you just said, if you're a consistent example of, hey, I've fallen down fucking 5 million times, but I keep getting back up and getting a little bit better every time, that's gonna inspire a lot of people.
Right.
You know
I've
what?
had plenty of fucking mistakes in my life, made plenty of mistakes, but like, you know what, I learned from that shit. Yeah.
You know what? I think I just found the title for this episode. Be the change.
Be the change. Be the difference.
Get a change. Yep.
Because everyone's so busy, what did I say? I had a good quote today. I said, be the good that you want to see in this world. And every one of us has the power to do it. We just gotta do it. Absolutely. And that's why, I'm always nice to people. I always give people the benefit of the doubt, no matter what they do to me. They can hurt me, they can break me, you can do whatever the hell you want. I ain't gonna hate you though, because that would just give you the energy that you wanted, or the evil energy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
yeah. Don't feed the heavy. That's why I tell people, don't feed the heavy, man. Feed the light.
I'll wish you healing, and that's it. And I'll go continue my path.
Yep, I do the same thing. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone. If you like this episode, make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See you
Love
guys.
you guys.
Love you.